Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine, and I'm your chef Basim Akhnur, back with another new episode from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is known as Halim. This recipe dates back to the time when the Mughal emperors came to Pakistan. It is said that this recipe has Arab origins. Yes, you've heard it right. This recipe originated from the Arab countries, and in those countries it was called as Dalim or Harissa, also in the countries such as Morocco and other places such as Yemen. This recipe has a very distinct history. In Pakistan, usually Halim is served on the occasion of Muharram. In the other countries, if you talk about Arab countries, over there it's used as another recipe that is used for festivities which are local to their own culture. In Pakistan, this recipe was first made with the sheep meat and the goat meat, and with time, as it passed by, this recipe was made with beef. Nowadays, if you see, this recipe is easily cooked at home using pressure cookers, but back in the day this recipe was made in a go for at least 200 to 300 people. Now you might be thinking, when you cook for 200 to 300 people, how was this recipe made? This recipe was made in clay pots which were basically put under the ground, and there was wood fire underneath, and it was cooked for at least 8 to 10 hours, and continuously people used to have these big vats in which they had these big sticks, and they used to push it down so that they could mash it. It is also known as a porridge in the Arab countries, but in Pakistan it is known as Halim. This recipe is very easy. What are the ingredients? I'll let you know step by step. The ingredients are very basic, very simple, and this recipe has a lot of lentils and rice also used in it. This recipe is filled with energy, and if you are on a diet or if you are avoiding any forms of heavy carb or fat, you can use this recipe, and you can even avoid any form of flatbread or naan bread with it, but usually in Pakistan people do take flatbread and naan bread with it. So you need at least half a kg of beef. I have around 1.5 kg, but I shall take out the amount I need and I'll save the rest. Then you need around 2 onions and some green chilies. The green chilies and 1 onion will go towards the end when I'll give a tadka to this recipe. Some restaurants do give a nice tadka on top that adds the flavor. And then the other ingredients are ginger, garlic, salt to taste, some yogurt. Then in lentils you'll be using chickpea, you'll be using masoor ki dal. Now I can't tell you the name of this dal. You can also call this black lentil in your own language, but it is a dal which has origins based to Pakistan. Then you need some rice. Rice, you can even use broken rice, you can use basmati rice, you can use sela rice, or you can use the normal rice that is available in the market. Why? Because once you boil the rice, we shall start mixing it and it will break down. Then you need some barley. Yes, you need barley for this recipe. I'm using some crushed barley in front of you. If you get the whole form, you can use that also. You need around 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil, and then you need some garam masala, you need turmeric powder, red chili powder, you need coriander powder, and that's about it. So we shall start this recipe. Usually what people do is people do the one pot cooking method for this recipe, but you need to understand, if you start boiling the meat without interlocking the flavor, then the flavor will be loosed. So what you need to do is you need to save the flavor. For that, what I'll do is I shall sear the meat a bit, and then I shall transfer it to the pressure cooker, and so on. I'll let you know what are the other ingredients. So first what you need is you need the meat. I'll be using a meat knife today. Why? Because I need to cut the meat, and also I need to make it or convert it into thin strips. Okay, so this is 1.5 kg. What I'll do is I'll take half a kilo for this recipe, that is it. So I'll cut it from here and just pull the muscle apart. As you know, meat is a form of muscle also. I'll keep this over here, the rest stays here, and as you can see, this piece of meat is almost very clean. There is a bit of fat on top which is completely natural, but I'll be using the fat for this recipe. Why? Because the fat we'll be using in this recipe will come from the meat only, and the oil we're just using is just to saute all the other ingredients. So this recipe is mostly using the animal's fat and bringing that flavor into the recipe, not any other forms of fat such as ghee, butter, oil, or any other form of oil like mustard oil or coconut oil. So what I'll do first is I shall make thin pieces like this, and I shall keep it on the side. We shall interlock all the flavor by sauteing it for just a bit, not too long. But if this takes time, you still need to give it time. Why? Because if you start doing it really fast, what will happen is you won't get the perfect texture for this recipe. I'm not using the other knife. Why? Because if the knife's blade is a little thin, as you can see, this is like a meat knife, what will happen is you'll get the perfect cut. If you use the chef knife, which you can also, what will happen is eventually you won't get the equal cuts, or you won't get the perfect cut you need. Why? Because it is a little difficult to handle. It's not difficult for me, but because I'm trying to teach you a recipe which comes from Pakistan, I try using things which are which will make your life easier in your kitchen, in terms of cooking and in terms of preparing the meat or preparing the dish altogether. You need to understand, you need to always take every recipe very slowly, and you should follow all the steps, and then if you follow the steps, trust me, you will never go wrong. The last piece of the meat could be a bit complicated, so just go very slowly. It's complicated. Why? Because you do not want the knife to slip. If the knife slips, you can give yourself a cut also. So as you can see, the beef is ready. Now what we'll do is we shall just take a pan. I'll take a frying pan and I'll keep it over here. I'll increase the heat, bring it to heat, and then I shall add some oil to it. What you need to do is, when the pan is really hot, just add the meat and sear it for like 25 to 30 seconds on each side, and then change the side and then do it for the other side also. And then what I'll do is I'll take it out momentarily. When I've taken it out momentarily, what I'll do is then I'll prepare all the other ingredients. So what I'll do first is I'll just add around 2 tablespoons of oil, not too much, because the pan is, you could say, non-stick. And for this recipe, you do not need too much of oil. I will try avoiding as much as I can when it comes to oil. Why? Because I want to cook something for you which is also healthy, wholesome, and it has a lot of energy. And as you can see, you need to use these forms of lentils. So what lentils are we using? Because my hands are clean, I shall start getting ready with these ingredients. So you need chane ki dal. We also call it chickpeas, but these are broken chickpeas, the smaller ones. Keep it over here. Then you need masoor ki dal, also known as black lentil. You need around 1 cup of rice, and then you need some barley. Okay, these are things you need. Whatever I don't need, I'll keep it on the side right now, which will be used later for this recipe. I'll pick up a bowl first, and I shall soak all of this into this. So what I'll do is I'll pick some water. I'll add around 2 cups. 2 cups of water here. And then I shall transfer all of this into this. Okay, now usually when you talk about this recipe, what do people do? People start boiling each and every form of lentil, rice and barley separately, but you can do it together also. But the catch behind that is, if you do this, you need to remember one thing, that you need to soak it for at least half an hour and wash it thoroughly at least 4 to 5 times. So what I'll do is I'll soak all of this together. First I'll add the barley, then I'll add the dal, then I'll add the black lentil, then I'll add the rice. I shall just move it a bit and let it stay in the water for at least half an hour. What will happen is, when it will stay in for half an hour, it will take some water in, and the cooking process will also fasten up. So when you don't need these, keep it on the side. As you can see, the oil has come to heat. I'll reduce it to the pilot, and I'll start now adding the meat. Okay. Start adding the meat and just add it for 25 to 30 seconds, remember that. So just place it straight. And now just count 25 seconds, increase the heat to full, and we are just searing the meat. You need to remember that we are not frying it or cooking it. When you sear the meat like this, what happens is the beef, it interlocks the flavor, and when you'll eat it, you'll have a nice texture and the flavor will be better as compared to directly boiling it. Okay, 25 seconds have passed by. Now convert it to the pilot again, and now start flipping. You just have to flip it. As you can see, the texture has changed a bit, and then we shall continue to the next step. So as you can see, the reason behind cutting the beef into thin slices was that it will easily fix on the base of the pan and the heat will be distributed equally. If you cut it into lumps, what will happen is the heat won't go till the center, and then you won't get that desired texture and flavor. You remember all these small things, you go a long way in life. Why? Because cooking is all about time, temperature, technique, and the cut of the meat or the vegetable. Okay, as you can see, this is almost done. What I'll do is I'll pick up a new pressure cooker and I'll tell you what the next step is. So around 25 seconds have passed by. Put the stove off, and now do not let it stay in the pan. If you let it stay in the pan, what will happen is the cooking will still keep going on. So what I'll do is I'll pick up a fresh plate. I'll just put it over here on the side in front of you so that you can see the shots, and I shall transfer all of this into this. Okay, the oil over here should not be wasted. It has all the flavor, and that is what I need for this recipe. Now this pan is completely clean, but what the next step is, I'll let you know, but we shall go for a short break, and once we come back, I'll let you know what to do. Keep watching Indus Cuisine, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break, I just waited for you, and what we did was we waited for at least half an hour so that I could soak the water out from the lentil, the rice, the barley, and all the other things I've mixed into it, because I have at least 2 forms of lentil in this and at least 1 form of rice and 1 form of barley. So it's like almost 4 things. So we had to soak it for at least half an hour. But if you have time, it's better that you can take around an hour and a half. Why? Because the more you soak it, the better texture the halim will have. Okay, so I'll keep it over here. And now what you need to do is the next step. For this, what you need is you need to have finely chopped garlic, and you need shredded ginger. So what I'll do is I'll take 3 pieces of garlic. I'll take my knife, I'll take my chef knife, which I didn't mix with the other things. I shall just squish it like this. I'm smashing it, and what will happen is when you smash it, the flavor of the recipe increases. Why? Because you'll get a perfect cut, and as you can see, all the juices are coming out. I shall add all the juices into the pan also. So just finely chop the garlic now, slowly and gradually. And now mix it. Turn it around like this so that if something is not chopped properly, it shall mix well. Okay, this is done. All this shall go in a pressure cooker eventually, not right now. Now, as you can see, I'm going to use the same pan. Yes, I'm doing it deliberately. Why? Because all this oil has the flavor of the beef, which I want. That's all the goodness we'll be requiring for this recipe specifically. So what I'll do is I'll increase the heat. The remaining oil I shall add into this. Not too much of oil I'm using, as I told you. And what I'll do is first I'll add the garlic. I'll saute the garlic for at least 30 seconds. What will happen is the garlic will get nicely translucent and you'll get this nice flavor. So just mix it around. Take a pinch of salt and spread it on top. That's it. Okay, the next step is you need the ginger. Okay, there are two parts of ginger. The second part of the ginger will go in the final part where I'll be tempering the recipe, not right now. Now reduce the heat again. Why? Because the pan has come to heat and I want it to be low on heat. Now I'll take the shredder and I shall just finely shred the ginger. This is done. Now this part of the ginger will go in the dustbin. I'll just shake it and pull the remaining, which is stuck at the back. Okay, all this ginger shall go into the pan and I shall saute this for 30 seconds even. Okay, just pass your knife. Finally chop it, scoop it up and add it to the pan. Increase the heat to full and start mixing this. Now then reduce the heat again to completely low, as in on the pilot. Okay, this is down. Now what you'll do is you need half an onion right now. I'll cut it from between. I'll take the root out. Why am I taking the root out? Because I want to slice the onion properly and I'll slice it. It's done. Now pick this up and add it to the pan. Why am I adding it to the pan? Because I want it to be a little translucent before I add it to the pressure cooker. What does a pressure cooker do? You add water into it and what happens is the water cooks everything down. Right now, you're sauteing it. If you add it to the pressure cooker, the texture of the recipe will change. Increase the heat to full. Again, just take a pinch of salt, just a little bit, add it on the onion. Why? Because it will bring out the moisture, it won't stick together and it will get a nice texture. Now, pick the spatula up and start mixing it. Just flip it up once. This is done. Just press it down a bit. And now I shall add some spices to it so that I can enhance the flavor of the spices also. So first we'll add the coriander powder, spread it out. Then you'll add the red chili powder, half right now, and the half will go in later. Then you'll add the turmeric powder, and then you'll add the garam masala. garam masala goes in completely. Now what I'll do is I'll pick up some oil and I'll splash it on top. So not too much, I just added like 2.5 tablespoons because the oil comes out really slowly, so you might think it's a lot, but remember, it's not that much. I'm counting it because it's my equipment, I know. Mix it around. Why am I doing this? So the flavor of the spices enhances. And this is done. So now I'll put it back on the pilot and I'll pick up a fresh plate. I'll transfer all this into this. This goes here. And try sourcing everything from the pan. Why? Because it's all the flavor you need in the main recipe, remember that. This goes in. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll clean up a bit and then I'll tell you what the next step is. So all the ingredients are ready. So what I did first was I seared the beef, which is over there. I've kept it on the side for a bit. Then what I did was I soaked the rice, the lentils and the barley for at least half an hour. If you have time, you should soak it for at least an hour and a half. Then what I did was I sorted all the masalas with the onion so that the flavor enhances. And now the next step is to add it to the pressure cooker, and then I'll tell you how to temper this recipe properly. Okay, so what we'll do first is we'll pick up a pressure cooker. I'll keep it here. Do not increase the heat right now. First, what you'll do is you'll take the beef and whatever juices you see in the plate. Why? Because when you let the hot beef rest, what happens is the flavor, the juice starts seeping out. So that's the resting juice. I want all the resting juice to go back into the pan. And why is this so? This resting juice is all the flavor people use, and whenever if you see in a restaurant when you make a steak, you sear the steak, you cook it and then you keep it on a grill. You'll see all the juices going down. That juice is never wasted. We use that juice to make sauces. We use that juice as, you could say, a stock, and that is all the flavor. So I've added everything over here. Now increase the heat, and what you'll do is first you should transfer all the lentils, barley and the rice into this. Try not wasting anything, so I'll pick up a spatula and I shall just transfer it slowly into this. This is done. Now you want everything to be properly mixed once. So when the beef goes in, we shall mix the lentil and all the barley and rice mixture first, so that the flavor of the beef mixes into it properly. And then what we'll do is we shall add the masalas. The masala will go in this. You can see when the masala was into a powder form, it was a lot. It was like in different ramekins. Now it's into like a thick paste. So you should add it over here and mix it with everything. What you'll see is all the color will be transferred to the beef and the lentil, barley and rice mixture. It's turning into a yellow color. It's a nice yellow color which you need for this recipe. You can hear the sizzling sound also now. Do not cook it too much. Why? Because you want to boil it. I'm just mixing it first. And now what you'll do is you'll add water to it. Okay. The water goes in. Just shake it a bit. If you see any lentil or any meat or anything sticking on the cooker, just put it back inside. And now you have to add salt. Not too much, just a 1/4 teaspoon. You can add the rest later on, and the remaining red chili powder goes in. Mix it properly in the water. And also the yogurt. So you'll add the yogurt right now. I'll take my paring knife, cut it and transfer all the yogurt into this. So as you can see, everything is in the cooker. I added the yogurt also. Now just make sure to see that everything is submerged properly, and take a lid and close it. So the other thing is, when the whistle starts blowing, you should start counting at least half an hour. You need to count half an hour for this recipe. Why? Because you want it to be really soft and the texture needs to be just like porridge. So that will happen when the beef is so soft that it starts falling apart, and for that you need to cook it for at least 30 minutes. The fun part is that the cooker cooks it in 30 minutes. If you are using something without a cooker, if you're just cooking it on the open flame, what will happen is you'll take at least 8 hours to 6 hours to cook this recipe. So this is the quicker way. Okay, I'll increase the heat, and once the whistle goes on, we shall start counting the time. The next step is what you need to do is you need to prepare a few things that goes with this recipe. So people serve fried onions, people serve fried green chilies, and people serve fried ginger with it. So these are 3 things. But what we'll do is, it doesn't mean we're going to temper it all of a sudden like in one go. We will take out some fried things first once they're fried, and then the remaining oil that will be left into it, we shall start tempering with it. Okay, what I'll do is I have the other stove on. I shall just transfer all of this over here, and this stove shall be used for the ingredients. So in my language, in Urdu language, we also call it lawazmat. Lawazmat means all the added garnishes or all the other added things that you have with the recipe. So we're making lawazmat for you today. As you can see, that Urdu language is a very rich language in terms of culture, pronunciation, and it sounds very mellow also. Okay, so what you need is, first you shall add around a 1/4 cup of oil. As you can see, it's too slow. I told you, I've just poured 2 tablespoons right now. Now it's been 4. And this is more than enough. Okay. Now what you need is, you want to bring the oil to heat. Once the oil comes to heat, what we'll do is we'll start frying the onions. Now this recipe, what I'm cooking today, is for at least 6 people. So the onion I have is 1. What I'll do is I'll bring the onion to a brown texture, because for this recipe you shall be using fried onions. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll finely slice it. You need to finely slice the onions. This is done. Okay, so when the pan comes to heat, you shall add a little bit of salt first. For this one, I'll add around just 2 pinches of salt. Shake it. You want the salt to nicely dissolve. And now you transfer the onions. If you do not want to fry the onions at home, in some desi store close to you, if you live in the West, if you don't live in Pakistan, you can easily find a packet of fried brown onions. You could use that also. But if you can't find fried brown onions, what you can do is you can fry them yourself. Okay. The other part about this recipe is, or this fried onions is, if you can find them at a desi store, it's easily available. What you can do is you can use those, because this takes time, effort and oil. Or the other thing is, you can fry a lot of onions in one go, take a paper towel, drain all the oil, and then store them in a Ziploc bag in a fridge or a freezer, and then you can always reuse them. Okay, so mix them and make sure that the onions are not sticking to each other. So just press them so that, as you can see, onions are in strands, they'll fall apart. And that is the time they will start frying properly. If the onion is sticking together and you do not pull them apart, what will happen is the texture will change and you won't get the crispiness, you'll get them soggy, which is not the right thing. And also, they won't cook properly. So just keep mixing them. Always keep an eye. And reduce the heat to medium. Heat goes down. And now you need some green chilies. So what I'll do is I shall take around 6 to 8 green chilies. I'll take the stem off and I'll keep them over here. Some people chop the green chilies, but what I'll do is I shall just slit them into half from the center, and we shall fry them after the onions are completely done. So the green chilies are over here. I'll need like 2 more. And then we shall get these ready for frying. What also happens with frying the green chili is that the flavor of the green chili, meaning the spice level, goes down. Why? Because the oil pulls it out. Okay, you can see the pressure cooker has started. Now do not keep it on high heat, otherwise the foam will come up. So reduce the heat to medium and now count 30 minutes. Okay, this is done. Now just slit the green chilies from between. Keep an eye on the onions also. Why? Because you do not want to burn them. There's a perfect time you need to take them out on. Okay, this is done. Now start mixing it. Why? Because you can see the outer side of the onions turning light brown. And then again push them. And push this on the side. Okay, this goes here. You want the ginger to be julienne. So just finely slice it first. And I'll keep the remaining part on the side. As you can see, these are turning brown quickly. Why? Because the journey from zero to translucent takes time, but once they're translucent, the journey to translucent to brown is much more quicker. So I'll just pile these pieces of the ginger the way we've cut them, put them on a side, and then just finely slice them. So go as close as you can. And the last piece, I'll just slice it individually. Okay, this is done. You can see the ginger is nicely sliced and the onions are turning brown quickly, very quickly. So now you can't take your eyes off. Okay, now when you tilt them, all the oil is going to come on one side and they'll get a nice deep frying effect, which I want. This is all the moisture that is coming out. And now transfer this over here. We have brown fried onions. And now what I'll do is I'll fry the green chilies. And now add around 2 tablespoons of oil more for the green chilies. Increase the heat to full. And now fry these. Tilt them, give it a nice deep frying effect, use less oil. Give it around 35 to 40 seconds, that is it. So as you can see, the halim is ready. Obviously, I'll take it out of the pressure cooker. That was done. I just added some fried onions on top. I added some finely chopped coriander and just the fried green chili. So now what you need to do is the end part of the recipe. So I have less time, I'll just pour it in this. It's clarified butter. It's a little hot today, it was sunny, so it's a little, you could say, runny, not very solid when it's in like really harsh winters. Increase the heat to full. And now what I'll do is I'll add the ginger. As you can see, the ginger is frying. Fry the ginger for 30 seconds. Tilt the pan like this and let it deep fry. And deep frying the ginger, we'll give it 30 seconds so that the moisture comes out. The oil has this nice ginger flavor, and then I'll just pour it on top for the final look. Why? Because that is how some restaurants in Pakistan serve it. And in the home cooking or house cooking, people do not put the tarka on the halim, but we will tell you how it's done authentically. Okay, this is done. As you can see, some pieces are just turning a little light brown towards the edge, so I'll stop the heat and I'll pour it on top. Today's recipe is done. Just like move it around so that the oil is properly distributed. And it was very easy. I've just taken out a serving for 2 people. That is it. I hope you liked today's episode. I'll see you in another episode of Indus Cuisine. Take care of yourselves. Lovely people. Bye-bye.